the Mark V Supra. This thing has been around since the 2020 model year, and now 4 years later, that coincides with the 45 years of the nameplate. For the 1979 model year, it was called the Toyota Celica Supra. There's been a couple of generations after that, but this one is the 45th anniversary edition for the Mark V. This is basically built up on the 3.0 Premium Supra, so a lot of things have pretty much stayed the same. You still got the fantastic 3-liter inline-6 B58 engine. You still have the 2-seater experience with the rear-wheel drive, and you still get the lingering questions whether you know this is a BMW. And with the 45th anniversary edition that Toyota just loaned me for this week, there are some unique additions, making this potentially a unique collectible, a pricey one on top of the already awesome driving experience. Think of this one as an appearance package because this is limited to only 900 units, all built on the 3.0 premium grade. Now 450 of those will be made in the Absolute Zero, which is the white paint, and then 450 units will be in this Mekon Blast color. Now Mekon means orange or tangerine in Japan, and when you combine orange and Supra, you immediately think of the Fast and Furious Mark IV Supra, so this is a nice tribute to that. And then you find the stripe down the middle with the Supra branding. I think that looks pretty good. It fits the highlights of the car. And then you get the 19-inch forged wheels. This is the same design as the base 3.0 Supra, but it's in black now. And then at the back, you get the 45th anniversary edition unique component, and that is the adjustable spoiler. So this sits about 3 inches high, and you can see here you have 2 screws. You're gonna have to use some Torx bits here and also a socket. And you can see here that this is sitting in the forward position. So if you loosen that and you reposition one of these bolts, you could position this about 1 inch rearward. And I think that's gonna give you more downforce because this thing is gonna have more leverage over the rear wheels. So there's really not a lot of adjustment there, but at least it's something for you to tweak. Some wings do block your rear view mirror image, but this one isn't so bad, as you can see from sitting on the inside. And the wing is low enough that it fits the profile of the car pretty well. Inside the engine bay, you get one more unique component, and that's the strut tower brace that has been somewhat color matched. It's not a very good job, but you get this orange strut tower brace and also the middle one with the GR sticker on it. And of course, you've got the 3-liter inline-6 B58 engine with the twin scroll turbo, and that's making 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. And there's one more unique component to this 45th anniversary edition, but before we jump in, let's go talk to Gregson about this video sponsor.
Guys, when you're car shopping, what's the first thing that you have to provide to get a quote or schedule a test drive? Exactly, a bunch of personal information. Things like your phone number, email address, ID, all of it. And it's totally fair for dealers and private sellers to ask you for that. They want to verify that you are you. But what happens if these companies get hacked? All of your personal information, from your phone number to your card information, could be out there, vulnerable to hackers, spammers, and scammers. Recently, AT&T said that there was a data breach that leaked over 73 million customer records, both existing and former, onto the dark web. And unfortunately, companies you trust can be the ones putting your information at risk. And did you know that information can be sold to data brokers who make a business out of trading your personal details? And this is the reason why I've started using Aura, today's sponsor. Aura is like a digital watchdog, constantly monitoring for any signs that my personal information has been compromised. They alert me if details pop up on the dark web or if data brokers are trying to sell my information. And they even help me to remove my info from their databases. In today's world where data breaches and identity theft are becoming all too common, having a service like Aura is essential. They give you peace of mind knowing that someone's got your back online, so you can focus on enjoying your new car without worrying about who might be taking a joyride with your personal information. Look, if you value privacy as much as I do, head on over to aura.com/shiftinglanes to start your 2-week totally free trial, or you can click in the description below. When it comes to protecting your digital life, Aura is the ultimate co-pilot. And now, back to Hanson.
Now let's go inside the Supra, and you can't really tell that this is a special edition Supra until you look over here. And here you have the special placard. It's a special edition, limited to 900 units produced for the 2024 model year. Of course, you've got the Toyota Gazoo Racing and also Magna Steyr, and that is where this is produced. There is some news lately about Magna Steyr, and I'll let you know at the end of the video. Now that we're inside, let's start this up. Now, what's great about the Toyota Supra is that since the 2023 model year, you can get this in the 6-speed manual transmission in addition to the 8-speed automatic transmission option. Now, for the 2024 model year, you could still get the manual transmission, which in my opinion, this combination, the 6-speed manual transmission and the Mekon Blast color, makes this the most collectible out of the 900 units being produced, 450 in this color. And it's not cheap either, because this one after delivery is $65,470. That's $6,725 over the 3.0 premium, and almost $10,000 more than the base 3.0 Supra, which, if you've seen the news lately, the 2025 model year, the cheapest Supra will be the base 3.0. They are dropping the 2.0 Supra from the lineup, which I totally agree, because that Supra wasn't really that fun to drive. It was a little bit cheaper, but really wasn't worth the cost in my opinion. But for this one, is this vehicle worth $65,000? Because this is basically just your 3.0 Supra, so you could kind of have the same driving experience for $55,000. Let's find out in this video. And let's first talk about the straight line performance, because the 3-liter inline-6 turbo engine is awesome. You get 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. You'll find that same exact engine in a bunch of different BMWs that I've also tested on this channel. It is very smooth. The turbo has minimal lag, but again, for $65,000 or even the base $55,000 price tag, you have a lot of options at that range. The Nissan Z is a nice alternative, and that makes 400 horsepower, albeit it's a little bit heavier. And then you have the Mustang GT. If you get the performance pack, that is so far the best performance bang for your buck, in my opinion, because that has a 5-liter V8 making 480 horsepower, 486 if you upgrade it with the active valve exhaust. That's just a crap load of performance packed into $50,000. And if you find something better for that money, let me know in the comments, because I don't think there's anything that comes close to it. Now, when it comes to the handling, this vehicle weighs in around 3,400 pounds. Now, while it's not as lightweight as like a Mazda Miata, this is one of the lighter sports cars around this horsepower mark. It is still lighter than some of the cars that I just mentioned. It does have a limited slip diff and also adjustable suspension, so you could slightly stiffen the chassis for a more spirited driving experience. And then the stock tires are pretty awesome. The Pilot Super Sports at 275 millimeters, that's a lot of tire. This car just feels like a badass sports car. You're seated low, you have this cerebral connection to the road. Now, the steering wheel is an electronic power steering system, which is what you'll find in almost all cars now. So while it doesn't give you the same level of feedback as hydraulic power assisted systems, this is still pretty good. And the nice thing about these electronic power steering systems is that you could also change the amount of power assistance so that you could stiffen it up if you want to have a more racy feel, or lighten it up if you're just cruising through traffic. And then you have the generous amounts of power. Not only is it quick from 0 to 60, but from 80 to whatever, it feels effortless. And then when it comes to the interior, you kind of appreciate that Toyota collaborated with BMW for this one. The interior quality is very well put together. There's a lot of nice looking materials. They are a little bit tough to the touch, but it looks great. And you also have a lot of carbon fiber in the center console. Very sporty looking. I do like the seating position of this car. It feels like you're seated in a low slung sports car. The belt line is fairly high. And if you look at the pedal positioning, I think the Germans have pedal positioning down pretty well. The gas pedal here is hinged on the floor, so that when you're heel in towing, it is very forgiving. You could sort of just sloppily just heel that gas pedal. Very easy to do. As for the rest of the interior, I still like that you have physical keys here. You have your physical volume dial, and you have your soft touch buttons for pre-programmed settings. And then down below you have a wireless charger and the 6-speed manual transmission. I mean, this feels just fine. It's like other BMW shifters. And then over here you have a couple of physical keys for your sport mode, your electronic parking brake, which I'm not a big fan of. I like how in the Nissan Z you still have a manual parking brake. And then over here you have your iDrive-like system. This is pretty intuitive, and there's a lot of shortcut buttons to jump to things pretty quickly. You have the smaller infotainment screen, which if I go into reverse, you could see the backup camera right there. And then you have the digital instrument cluster, which looks fairly straightforward. Not too big, not too small, but it displays a lot of relevant information. So pretty much the same Supra experience that you've had for the past few years. And there's really nothing that signifies that this is the 45th anniversary edition. Would have been nice if there was some special badging somewhere in here. And then back to the special edition placard. Would have been pretty cool if that stated the exact number of the vehicle. What is it out of 900 instead of just saying limited to 900 units produced? So the Toyota Supra is 4 years old now, so it's still a bit of a rare sight. And maybe it's because they just did not sell that many over the years. Production peaked around 2021 with like 6,500 units. And just last year, I think they only managed to sell about 2,500 of the Supras. So limiting it to 900 units, it's probably a good call because not a lot of people are buying these things. And also very recently in the news, they are going to stop production of both the BMW Z4 and also the Supra for 2026. So Magna Steyr is going to stop producing these things, which means that this is going to become more rare. And with this combination, the manual transmission and also in this Mekon Blast color, I think this is going to be the rarest, the most collectible version of the 45th anniversary edition. And since you're still watching this video, check out my video comparison between the Supra and the Nissan Z. I think they're very closely matched. Come check out what I have to say in that video. But I want to thank you guys for watching all the way till the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. My name is Hanson, and that is the Toyota Supra 45th anniversary edition, and I'll see you in the next one.